Welcome to the Profit Share Mastery Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Pres McKissack.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Profit Share Mastery. I'm your host, Pres McKissack.
And I'm Linda McKissack.
Hey Linda, how are you today?
I am great. Cindy and I were just chatting before you jumped on about how we're sick of the heat and ready for a little cooler weather. But I'm super excited today, Pres, because Cindy Dickerman and I go way, way back. And Cindy was always one of those people that I knew that when she joined our company would be a much better company. And so you always feel great when that happens. So we're excited today because Cindy's already given us a preview of some of the stuff she's been doing to recruit and to build, downline and to change people's lives. And so I told her I got chill bumps already and stopped talking because it was so good that everybody had to hear. So welcome, Cindy. I always like to start with you were born and then what happened. Of course, you and I are of the age you need to give me the Cliff Note version, but bring me up to how you got to KW and where you are today.
Okay, great. So I won't start too far back, but so born in North Carolina, small little farm, a little dirt farm, and was poorer than I ever knew it. I'll jump to the point that I left home at 17, went to college, got a scholarship, had to pay my own way through school, and at one point I was on food stamps. At one point I was homeless and sleeping in a hammock over someone's garage. And it took 7 years to get through college, but I luckily was found by a sort of a recruiter for the program called it was Volunteers in Service to America, which is Domestic Peace Corps.
Yeah.
And I was in community organizing and renovating old houses, and they found me and said, "You want to go back to school?" Because I had quit nursing school. I hated it. And I didn't have I had the patience for the people. I didn't have the patience for the medical part of it.
Yeah.
And so that sort of launched me an entrepreneurial career for me. After I graduated from college, I got involved with the Planning Commission in Charlotte and was working in old neighborhoods where houses needed to be either moved or torn down. And I just fell in love with people and homes and was always into that. I then had a journey. I started a production and promotion company, and that jumped me into, I was doing concerts and festivals and singer-songwriter events. Most people don't know about that part of me.
Wow.
That was back in the 70s. I was a, true hippie, supposedly, and also awesome. Politically very involved in community organization. Press is laughing about that. Yeah. So it was a good life. The 70s were great. And loved that. And in 1980, I got a job to go work for a company on a short-term gig to promote alternatives to incarceration for troubled kids.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I went to Washington, and I, got to stomp around Capitol Hill and drum up people to come see this wagon train that maybe somebody had ever seen on 60 Minutes, or this wagon train is the largest alternative to incarceration for troubled kids, called Vision Quest, based on the Plains Indian philosophy of you've got to experience life and you've got to be challenged with things instead of locked up. So they hired me to do communications, and I went to work with them for 10 years. And that moved me from North Carolina to Tucson, Arizona. And I traveled all over the western part of the United States by covered wagon and lived in teepees and did wilderness stuff, and came back, and I met my future husband there at Vision Quest, got married, and then had been promoted to then finance director of this organization on the East Coast. And then that moved me to Pennsylvania. And so I decided I was going to quit working for this organization. Things weren't, there was sort of a glass ceiling there. There really was a glass ceiling there, and there was really no opportunity for me. So I left there in 1989. I got a real estate license in 1990. And I was pregnant and had a 2-year-old. So that was a little bit difficult starting in 1990 with a small little boutique company, and they got bought out by Prudential. And in 1992, I was so lucky because Prudential hired Howard Brinton. to come and do a training for the tri-state of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. And I went to the Howard Brinton thing, and this will give you the chilly bump. So, you put your business card in the fishbowl, right?
Mhm.
And so Howard's jumping around on stage. I mean, Howard's working the back, he's working the front. Back then, he was a one-man show in his trainings. And I was sitting next to this guy named Dan. And so at the break, they were going to draw a name to win the Star Power Club. And I was very excited. And I said, Dan, he's going to pull my name. There might have been 400 agents or 500 agents. And as soon as his mouth opened, my ears closed and all I heard was my name. It was like slow motion, Cindy Dickerman. And I was like, oh my gosh, I won. So I won the Star Power Club, and I had $250 with me, and at the back of the room, Howard, now he's in the back of the room selling everything. And I said, I've got $250. So he said, I think you should buy Scripts for Success.
Yeah.
So I wore those tapes out in my cassette player in my car driving around. And so that was my introduction to you and to the Ubaldinis and Judy Johns and Mike Brody and the Harpers and Alan Dom and the Crockett's and on and on. And I think I only missed one Howard Brinton conference up until, when he passed. And I think the last one was in 2009.
Wow. Wow.
So
that's a journey.
Becoming that student of the top producers, like all of you guys, woke me up. And I went to Remax the next year. And I then asked my broker, after, learning so many things, listening to the tapes, I said, how do I get a buyer's agent? And my broker said, what's a buyer's agent? Like, oh no, I'm not sure if I'm in the right place. But I built a team and became the top agent in the office. And here I knew no one. I had moved to Pennsylvania and I knew no one, no family, no friends, no past relationships with anyone in this little town of Pennsylvania. But I got involved in community work in my community where I lived and in the schools. So 1998, I think Rich McCarthy opened the Pennsylvania region. Rich, I'm on the radar now because I'm the top agent in my office, and I'm probably the second, third, fourth, fifth in the top 5 of Remax agents in our state of Pennsylvania. And I'm getting calls from Rich McCarthy, and I finally met with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. I really didn't. And I brought 3 or 4 other agents with me to meet with Rich about Keller Williams. And we ended up getting a copy of the franchise agreement, which one of the guys took to his attorney, and he said, you'd be crazy.
Yeah.
200 pages of that. 1999 in the fall, I get a call and I answer the phone, and it's Gary Keller. And I'm like, I know who Gary Keller is, but I don't know who Gary Keller is. And Gary's recruiting, right? So Gary starts asking me what's happening in the market. And I said, I'm not moving at all. I'm pretty settled where I am. And we just flipped to a seller's market, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, honestly. So Gary starts coaching me. And he said, did any new listings come up on the hot sheet today? And I went, yeah, they did. He said, were any of them yours?
Wow.
So that was another boom, wake up moment. I'm in the wrong place. And then I got a lot of calls from a lot of people, and I still wasn't ready to make a move. So 2 guys, by this time, Keller Williams had opened 3 or 4 offices, and I knew of a lot of people that I liked and cared about were going to Keller Williams locally. And besides all of you guys at Star Power that I thought were the best in the business were at Keller Williams. And I was, but you were far away. I'm in Pennsylvania. Keller Williams is in Texas. It's like, whoa, it's like not close enough to even have a relationship. So when a couple of offices opened in Pennsylvania, I had a chance to see them. And then back then, you could literally buy a territory. You could just draw a line
Yeah.
around on a map, right? So these guys had bought my county. They had an office and then they had opened a couple of offices, and then two guys had bought my whole county, and they were interviewing top agents. And I met with them, but they also interviewed everybody else under the sun. And I really had one foot in, but I wasn't sure. So
Yeah.
that summer I went to Mega Camp, and and a friend went with me, and we decided at Mega Camp in 2000, this was 2000, maybe two, we're doing it. We're just doing it. And I was scared to death because there were no Keller Williams in our county. There was no Keller Williams close by.
Yeah.
I was petrified. So that's pretty much how I got here.
That's awesome.
That's
Well,
so
it's so
good.
funny because a lot of people, I love this because a lot of people either think it's too soon or they think it's too late, right? And so my question to you is, later, did you ever have a moment when you wished you had joined earlier?
Yes, but I joined probably just 3 or 4 years after they had even opened in our state. So I didn't
Yeah.
have a whole lot of an earlier opportunity. I mean, we were truly pioneers here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we were for sure pioneers. No one had heard of us.
Yeah.
And I literally I think not really. No, I don't think I've had that I don't
Because I
think
know in the beginning, if they had offered you a market center or a territory, that because you waited later, that territory was gone. Sometimes because when people think it's too soon, they miss, and I mean, there's never a bad time for opportunity, but I'm saying sometimes I think people wait or say it's too soon or too late, and it actually costs them a little bit more than they probably got. Does that make sense?
absolutely. 100%. That's the way, that's obviously the way it is now. But at the same time, there's always turnover, and there's that opportunity never
Oh,
away.
yes.
Yep.
Opportunities for not only, joining Keller Williams, but buying market centers. So, and buying regions.
Yeah. Yes. So
So,
true.
Cindy, I want to know, what was it at Mega Camp in 2002 that got you from I'm not sure to we're going to do this?
I think there were so few people there. What maybe 500? I don't know. You back then.
Yeah.
There were so few people, and it was pretty much exactly like Star Power, except it was all Keller Williams.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
everybody sharing and the collaboration and the energy, and I just knew it felt right. I was looking for home. I had been with, by that time, actually 3 brokerages, because the small brokerage I was with got bought out. But I always felt like I was just an asset. I didn't feel like I had a stake. I didn't feel like I had a say. I certainly didn't have a say. As a matter of fact, it was funny because my old Remax broker, I was training at Remax.
Mhm.
And I remember putting together a whole listing consultation presentation I've been there for almost 10 years. And I wanted to train in our own office. I was training at other offices, and my broker said he wanted to approve the training. I went, I'm the top agent in the office. I bring more listings than anybody. Now you want to approve my listing presentation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's we call that when a broker poops and steps in it. They do this dumb stuff. You're like, why would you turn away someone who's willing to train your agents for you? I had the same issue with Ebby when I taught for them. They wanted to make sure I only said certain things.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, but this is what's happening out there, and this is what the agents are doing, and you want to filter to our agents what's actually working. I don't know. We'll see how that works.
Yes, yes. And so Press, I was there with another agent, and she was that I brought with me, and she was easily as enthusiastic as I was. I mean, we literally went in the bathroom like, we're moving. We're getting on the phone and calling people like, that's how we were.
Being happy and scared to
I
death
love
all
it.
at the same time.
Yes. Yes. So and our broker kind of found out because she told someone she was away at a business thing with her husband, and the broker must have had a little thing, and he called home, and one of her teenage kids said, I don't know, I think mommy's mommy's somewhere with, she's out in Texas or something.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well,
Whoops.
we used to believe that there was cameras at the airport because half the time, by the time people got back to their hometown, somebody had found out. Yeah. That's awesome.
So good. So, Cindy, let's give the big reveal away, right? Because you just passed an amazing milestone that I believe only 137 people in the company have done, and you have passed the $1 million mark of profit share, which is so amazing. By the way, congratulations! What an
That's so-
accomplishment!
Yeah.
So cool.
Right. It is it was a goal, and it's not the kind of goal that you can say, I'm going to go sell another house. I'm going to go get another listing. It's a goal of time will make this work if I just keep helping people.
Mhm.
So
So
good. So let's talk then about you joined KW in 2002, and
Actually 2003, but that's good. Yeah.
okay, 2003 you joined, and moving through from that point until you've reached this milestone. Kind of walk us through like your trajectory, your journey of KW, what you learned, and also what that looked like to go on the journey to make $1 million in profit share.
Yeah. So let me kind of go back. I'm 17 again now, and I'm on my own. I'm an only child. I'm on my own. I've got to forge my path in life, and I've also got to find other people who want to go with me, like the pioneers who went from the East Coast to the West Coast and had to, faithfully get on a wagon train and go somewhere that didn't even exist in their mind, but someone said, we're going to get there. So the beauty of it was that there were 9 of us at RE/MAX. There were 9 people from our RE/MAX office that trusted me, including this other one agent and her daughter and my team. I built a team by then, a small team. And then we talked to a couple of other people. We had 9 people from our office. So that was a mass exodus from that little office. There were only 45 agents there. And then I was able to find some influencers, Pres, from other companies. And it was very important to me that I find influencers from a Coldwell Banker. I should be naming offices, I don't know, but influencers from other brokerages that I thought that we had similar values. So
was it launching a market center, Cindy, or was there one already there y'all were joining?
No, I was launching #1 in our area. We didn't have any Keller Williams in our area. It was Keller who, what are you talking about? You're out of your mind. You're crazy. All those people telling me that I was, nuts.
Yeah.
Really. And so getting together that group of original core people, and then followed the model, for gosh sakes. I mean, I had such good mentors in the beginning. Okay, Gary Siegel, Mike Campo, Paul Allen and Paul DeChico had opened in Pennsylvania. So I had a blueprint. I mean, there was nothing in writing really to figure out and how to follow. And, we had to incubate out of an office that was over an hour away and a different zip code and a different area code. And nobody, people came and worked in my basement. It was faith. It was faith in myself. It was, faith in this is the right thing to do. This is, and I had been to FSO. By this time I'd been to FSO, and our core group had been to FSO. So the scary part was, all right, now they say, great, you're going to be a partner. You're going to go be the operating partner. We're going to give you 45% ownership. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to raise all the money. Because I had to partner with these guys that, remember, had already bought this territory.
Yeah.
They got to keep 25% of the territory, and I got to do all the work.
Yeah.
You're going to find an office. You're going to raise the money. You're going to find the agents. You're going to train everybody. You're going to learn about the model. You're going to go to all the trainings. Oh, you're going to keep your business running because you're not going to make any money for a while.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a lot of fun, right?
Not for the faint at heart. It's definitely for pioneers.
So, signing a lease for $250,000 a year, personal guarantee on a, commercial building was the kind of stuff that you lay in bed and cry at night. I think I've screwed up here. Please, God, please. I hope people follow me. Please, I hope they trust. and believe in this model. But we were so enthusiastic. We'd never
Yeah.
heard of profit share. We'd never heard of a capping model. We'd never heard of the opportunities where we could build these teams. And
Yeah.
we were just on sheer joy and enthusiasm attracting people. And then people were calling us. By the
Yeah.
second year, we had 125 agents.
Wow.
The end of our second year. And we were profitable from the beginning, from the very beginning, because we followed the models.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that, Cindy, because when you do follow the models, whether you're launching a market center or you're building your business with the MREA way, it actually works. But what people do is they tend to tweak it or fall short of it, and then they wonder why they're actually struggling. You know, one of the things that Pres and I say, and we preach in our profit share, is that you're building wealth, but you're actually changing lives while you're changing lives.
Yes.
And I know that you can tell that your life has been changed, but what about the people that you brought on? I mean, I always say in all the thousands of buyers and sellers I had, not one buyer and seller ever called me with tears in their eyes and said, "Thank you. You've changed my life." What has been your experience by changing people's lives through bringing them to Keller Williams? Have you seen people's lives change? Have they been more
People
grateful than maybe a buyer or seller would be with you?
I mean, I've seen so many people that they've gotten out of debt. They've been able to pay their pay their taxes. They've been able to buy investment properties. An agent just came to me yesterday, as a matter of fact, and she had to get new hearing aids, and they were expensive hearing aids that she has to renew. There's not like a one-time buy of $5,000 pair of hearing aids. These are a subscription that's $3,000 a year.
Wow.
And she said, my profit share, my husband said, you need to go sell another house. And she said, my profit share is going to pay for my hearing aids.
Oh, I love that. Gosh.
That's so
And
good.
yeah, so, and that was just yesterday that she told me that.
That's so good.
Um,
How many people do you have in your front line? Do you know?
27.
27. I think people misunderstand. They think you got to go have thousands of people that you've actually personally recruited. And the truth is, you know, Pres, what you always say, you build it wide and the company will build it deep.
Time will build it deep. Yep.
I'm build it deep. And I'll tell you another great story, around that Howard also had something to do with as well. So, but I want to go back and talk to you and say, Pres, we started teaching profit share day one.
Oh,
When this core group of agents understood what profit share was and how it worked, people were like thrilled. They were so excited that passive income for life that was willable blew their minds.
mm-hmm.
And these are some agents that were seasoned that started with us. They were great souls. They were good people. They were good community people. They were just the right kind of good people. And they weren't the top producers, the top producers. They were the good top producers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of those people didn't have retirement. They lived commission to commission. I mean, they might have been doing 10 or 15 million, but you know what that does,
Yeah.
and that's not enough to really set yourself up at a high level. In 2009, Tiger Leads had a conference I think we were in Denver, and I think Linda was the last, and Pres, you were probably there too, maybe 2009 was when everybody came together to honor Howard.
Yeah.
And Gary was there, and Dave Liniger came, and Coldwell Banker president came, and everybody came. And it was Howard Brenton. It was the last Howard Brenton conference.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
And
yeah, tell us about that.
I'm going to tell you about this story. So this is Howard Tiger Leads events going on, and there's a young man in the room, and we're all learning. And Sue Adler's in the room, and we're trying to figure out technology at a high level, and I'm like too old to figure it out, period. But Sue Adler's asking great questions, and people are answering, and they keep talking about this kid, Adam, ask Adam. And after it was over with, I couldn't see him. There's a pole in the way and I couldn't see who Adam was. Afterwards, I walked over and I said, thank you so much. And boy, I'd love to pick your brain a little bit. What's your name? What are you doing? He said, Adam Hergenrother, and I'm with Remax. And I said, I was with Remax. And he's rookie of the year. He was introduced as rookie of the year at Remax for the whole company.
Yeah.
26 years old, doing 26 million.
Wow.
And I said, wow, that is impressive. I said, what's your next move? He said, I don't know. He said, I don't have a next move. And I said, well, maybe, he said, I'm kind of stale where I am right now. I don't know what else to do. I said, have you thought about going to Keller Williams? And he said, there are no Keller Williams in Vermont. I'm like, great. One.
Yeah.
So I connected him with, I can't remember his name now, but the Northeast regional owner. And Mike Brody and I sat and had a drink with him at the bar with his wife afterward. And then the next morning, Gary was having a private session at 7 o'clock in the morning for anybody who wanted to come. And it was a private little thing. And I said, hey, why don't you and Sarah, his wife, come to that? So he and his wife, Sarah, show up at 7 o'clock and sit on the front row. They got there a little bit late and they sat on the front row and right up front. And I was like, he came, awesome. And so he joined Keller Williams and he went out to FSO. This was in, I don't know, anyway, what time of year it was, July. It was August, September. And then he goes to FSO and Mo says, anyone here not with Keller Williams, how did you get here? And he stood up and said, I'm here because of Cindy Dickerman introduced me and invited me to come. So he named me as his sponsor.
Wow.
As he should have.
As he should have. And I stayed in touch with him. And this is what I do with everybody. I just send them invitations. I invite them to everything.
Yes.
This is what all of us are supposed to be doing when we really care about someone, and whether they come to Keller Williams or not. We care about helping them. So that's really what I have spent a lot of time doing when I wasn't putting out fires as an OP and trying to figure out what the heck am I doing here. I've constantly gone, oh, wait a minute, I need to be inviting more people to events. And I come back to that and then I get re-energized again.
I love this, Cindy. And I want you to share the last thing here, but I want you to share because it was so exciting to hear you talk about this. Because we talk about people getting to the end of their career and they have nothing to show for it. And it's sad. It's really sad. You did a program called What's Next. I got chill bumps before we started recording you talking about that. So talk about that. Why did you do it? What happened when you did it? And what's been the outcome just from acceptance of it? Because I love it when I just loved it. So tell everybody about that.
Okay. All right. And I am going to tell you that. But yesterday was the very first time we did it. And listen, I had to make myself do it. And I'll tell you more about that. Let me just give you one other little tidbit. When I got my second profit share check, let me talk about life-changing. I was supporting my mother financially. Remember, I didn't have any money. And I was really helping her out. And she was back in North Carolina. My second profit share check was $859 in 2004. That was more than my mother's Social Security check.
Oh my gosh.
And she had been working for 50 years.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Gosh.
That, I tell people that one a lot. And so back to what's next. So what's next is that I call this group of people, Linda, myself, and people who've been in the business and had a very long, successful career. I call us luminaries. Luminaries. We're people who influence and inspire and light the way for others. So I've had this luminaries project on my list in Asana for 3 years. And I've talked about how am I going to help other people retire? How am I going to help other people come to Keller Williams and find, in your case, you have Pres, I have my daughters, other people need to be connected with someone that's going to carry on their legacy, or they need to just figure out what they're going to do. So this whole what's next, we all learned how to get into real estate. You get a license, you find a broker, you sell a house, you sell another house, and then you go, wow, I sold 10 houses this year. I'm going to double it next year. Oh, I'm going to build a team. Oh, I'm going to invest in real estate. But no one has written the book. No one has told us, what do you do to get out. So agents fade away. They stop talking to their database, and millions of dollars of commission just goes to the wayside. And some people say, I'm going to be selling real estate and, and until they take me out of the office from my last settlement in a hearse. But that's not really true. People just don't know what to do, and they're embarrassed because they don't have a plan. They've not figured it out, and nobody's talking about it. So what's next was a question that I was asking myself and everybody else. What's next? And most people don't know. How many people ask you, Linda, all the time, when are you going to retire?
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, Pres and I started creating the profit share courses and stuff that we have because I would get those calls from people and they would not know what they were going to do next, but they had heard that I had sold my business and they're like, I should have been in Florida 5 years ago. My husband's going to kill me if I don't, but I can't figure out how to get out because I need the money.
Yeah. Well, and the what's next is a big question because it's different for everybody. It has to be customized. So, Pres, what I was telling Linda is I decided to invite, and Monica Reynolds is my coach right now, and Monica helped me, she pushed me, and I had decided I wanted to invite about 10 to 15 agents, top agents from other brokerages and several Keller Williams agents that I knew that were at this stage of life of being in business for 35 to 40 years, 25, 35, 40 years, and get us together. And some of them that I tried to, partner with many, many years ago. We got together yesterday for the very first time. And the agenda, which, I can even send to you, is what's next. And we talked about how right now the median age of a realtor is 60. There's only 7% of real estate agents under the age of 39.
Wow.
We talked about what's the challenge? Why aren't young people getting into the business? We identified all the reasons why young people aren't getting into real estate. So we went through that whole matrix. We identified multiple ways where you can either merge and or sell your business. And we went through a couple of models. And then by the time we ended, we went around and did the ahas and we talked about what are you going to do next? And so many people just needed to sit back and go, I need to get off the hustle here and go spend some time with my family and with my team and have some serious conversations about what I'm going to do next. And, other people have to identify the who. But this is the first in what I hope will become a series of what's next.
I love that.
So good.
So you personally handpicked and you personally called to invite.
And yes.
How many people came?
I think we had 12.
Yeah. Okay. And how many people did you invite, do you think?
That was it. I only invited, there's only 2 people that couldn't come. I only wanted a small, intimate group so we could have that trust. It was not about, there's no recruiting involved whatsoever. This is just, peer to peer. What are we doing, people? You're 75, you're 72, you're 69, you're 58. What are we doing?
Yeah. Wow.
Cindy, what was the biggest aha in the room? You talked about how they said that a lot of them needed to go back and have the conversation. So I'm assuming that was part of it, but what else? What was the biggest things you heard from that group in the room?
If I go, I'd have to pull up my email. My memory's terrible of our notes, but I think the biggest aha was that it is an aha. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what it was. It was denial.
Wow.
Denial of the inevitable.
Do you think people weren't moving because they didn't know what was next or because they financially couldn't do anything but what they were doing? What do you think?
No, I think everyone in the room is financially in great shape, and some of them have, children in their 30s and 40s in the business, with them as well. There were 2 people who brought their, one person brought a son, another person brought a daughter they're in business with. They have a concept,
Yeah.
They have a thing. They got a team with their son in the business or their daughter in the business, but they don't have a plan.
Yeah. Well, and we've noticed that with some of our second generations, they've come to us with problems, either the parent or the kid, and going, "Hey, this is not working." They're not giving up the reins, and the parent is saying, "Well, they're not ready." So there's a lot of help needed, even in passing that baton to your second generation. Press and I've seen that.
Yes.
Yep.
And I shared my model where I just sold my business to my oldest daughter and
Yeah.
what worked and what didn't work. But the only way that would work for her was for me to step out because
Yeah.
she wanted to run things. And I was doing 20 million when I sold it to her back 13 years ago because I was running multiple market centers. Since I've opened 2 other market centers, title
Wow.
companies, insurance companies,
Wow.
and continued to buy investment properties. So I had other things that I was, doing. And she wanted to run the team the way she wanted to run the team. And I remember literally I was staying at the Sand Pearl in Clearwater, Linda, and I texted you in October 2013, and I asked you about the splits on my team that were too high.
Yeah.
And you said, yes, they're too high. That's not the model. So my daughter said, you need to step out, Mom, and I'll run the business. So, she took it to a, $80 million business and has
Wow.
a life and doing the things that she's doing. But I had to get out of the way.
Well, and what I
Yeah.
love about your story, Cindy, is because I see this a lot. If the rainmaker doesn't have a bigger, brighter future to move to, like market centers and all the cool things you were getting to take your energy and do, they won't let go of the team.
Yeah.
And they eventually run off their second generation or their talent or whatever, because they don't have anything bigger to move to. They don't let go.
So that's exactly a family reunion panel that needs to happen, that needs to be very honest, where people talk about that.
Yeah.
And, the other opportunities that are out there for people. And maybe, one guy said, here's what he said to me in the meeting. This guy was the biggest, oldest producer in the room. And we went around and did our ahas. And he said, I'm perfectly fine. I got more time on my hands. I'm very leveraged. I really don't need to do anything any different because he's the one who's always said he's going to be selling till he dies.
Yeah.
10 minutes after we left, he called me because he didn't want to say in front of that room.
Yeah.
I have become complacent. Thank you so much. I hope we can do this again.
It's great.
Gosh,
And-
Cindy, you're giving me such chill bumps, man.
So good.
Yeah.
This is so good. This is so needed. I love this. I hope everybody listening goes back and puts something like this together. It's a game changer and it's a life changer, honestly.
It goes right back to Howard and the things we used to say years ago. The answers are in the questions.
Yes.
So
And the
true.
people you're trying to serve will give you what you need to help them if you ask them enough questions and listen.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love this, Cindy. Oh my gosh. I'm immediately fixing to do this. I'm going to be getting me a luminary group together.
I love it. And there's so many options. And, we didn't talk a thing about profit share. We didn't talk a thing about Keller Williams, but on the side, I can go back to them and say, hey, listen, here's another level of passive income that you will have. I can call them and thank them and see what their ahas were and say, if you did decide to come to Keller Williams in your Tony Robbins talked about the winter of our life. In the winter of your life, I'm in the winter of my life. Then you would be able to earn profit share from your team and your business and your family and blah, blah, blah. And I am just I'm just a little intimidated to be with all of these people that know me, but I wanted to know them better.
But you also had to realize in that moment how blessed and how grateful for the opportunities that you had the courage to step into, because it's glaringly different in your life compared to most people who have spent how many years? 40 years in the industry.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's just huge. And that's how people self-discover. You don't even have to talk to them. And we teach this in our profit share courses. You don't even have to talk to them about Keller Williams because it's not about Keller Williams. I talk about how I took 18 of the first 22 people that did a mastermind with Gary. I brought them. Nobody knew who that skinny legged little guy was. he hadn't done anything yet. It was about them and the gaps that we saw they had. Like you are seeing the gaps that these people that have been in the industry and served their whole life have, and you're having a place for them to vent and talk about it, and you're creating a community. I think this might be one of the most brilliant ideas that's ever come out of one of our profit share interviews, Pres.
I agree.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
so
I'm
I-
excited.
Cindy, in closing, as we wrap up on our podcast here today, what do you want to leave people with as they look at your story, your journey of how you have had an amazing career at KW, you built amazing profit share? What would you tell them if they want to go on the same journey you've been on?
Well, I would tell them to really follow their own journey, follow their own path, trust the path that's laid out for them. It's people do truly try to compare themselves to others. And that's been a struggle that I've had in my life is, am I good enough? Am I going to be able to accomplish those things? And recognizing to just forge forward, do the things that you trust in your heart are the right things to do. And just keep offering people help, keep inviting people to events, keep having great training in your market centers, and just be the best co-op agent and the best OP you can possibly be. And when it comes to profit share, you've got to get that first line going.
Yeah.
You got to get it going. You've got to get people. You've got to be enthusiastic and passionate to help people. And that when you change their life, you're not going to want to stop changing other people's lives.
I love that. I love that. So good, Cindy.
Linda,
Yeah, go ahead, Pres.
I was just gonna say my so many take. First off, Cindy, I feel like we got a coaching call, so hopefully everyone listening feels like they got a great coaching call today because there's so many golden nuggets. My favorite nugget, gosh, there was a lot. My favorite one though, of what you said was the power of asking one great question. When you told the story about Adam Hergenrother and recruiting him to KW, the question you said was, "What's your next move?" Linda's been on way more than me. I've been on a lot of recruiting appointments, conversations. I've never asked it that way. What's your next move? I love that question. That is so powerful. And just to see the power of asking one great question and what doors it can open up. That was a big one for me.
Gosh, I love that. That is so true, Pres. And I think Cindy's just one more confirmation that if you just focus on changing lives, the wealth part of it through profit share will take care of itself.
Yeah, so good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Cindy, thank you for being on with us today. We're truly honored to have you. And again, congratulations on being one of the amazing select people in KW who have given and have now received over $1 million in profit share.
And Cindy, you've got market centers. Pres and I do a free profit share call every single month. We try to do it around the 21st as close as possible. We'd love to see your market centers on there. We'd love to help you. I mean, we want to make a movement out of profit share, and we'd love to have your offices. We do that free call once a month. And so we'd love to have your offices on there. Pres, how do they find out about that?
Yep.
Call?
If you go to profitshareclass.com, you'll immediately see there, and we update that every month with the new link so that anyone can go there and join. If you're a market center, you can go grab the link and host it. Cindy, we always try to encourage like an office to do it in the training room. Yeah. And let's have one day we try to do it around the 15th, around the 21st of every month to kind of have like a profit share day for each office. However, if you're an agent listening and you can't or don't want to attend it in the market center, you can watch it on your own from the comfort of your home or your office.
Yeah. And if you have any retired agents, one of the things Pres and I are pushing is the profit share websites that you kind of become a career counselor for all the new people getting in the industry. And so we have a program to teach people how to do that. And we just had this aha last month. Why are we not allowing this to be a huge opportunity for all of our retired but vested people that still love the company and want a little bit of something to do a couple of hours or an hour every day or every week or whatever? So I think we need to look in our rosters and say who is retired but still loves this company and would love to keep building their profit share.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Anyway, love it, Cindy. Thank you so much.
It was a
Appreciate
privilege. Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Press, I guess I'll see you next month.
Okay, see you then.
See you later.